my god, happy Trans Day of Visibility, everybody. Well, I guess the official day was yesterday, and because it's a joke day, April Fools and all of that, of course it has to carry throughout the weekend. Doesn't that just all seem to line up ever so perfectly? Like yesterday, the Tates, they were all released on the 24th anniversary of The Matrix coming out. That's just so weird. It's obviously coincidence, but this one right here, okay, you got a joke group of individuals thinking that, when the best day to congregate would be? On a joke day itself. Like, it just all writes itself. But don't worry, guys, nothing was going to be going down at the Supreme Court, okay? You had the official announcement of the stopping the trans genocide. Can anybody quantify that? Like, is any supporting evidence that's going to be out there? No, of course not, man. It's just hyperbolic fear-mongering to just try to get everybody in. As many people from different parts all across the country, try to get them all together so that they don't join the other 42%. But I guess I had a lot of free time on their hands, or maybe some people had some plane tickets that they couldn't get reimbursed, so they just had to turn up anyways, because of course that was exactly what was going to happen. But before we get into that, let's read the full statement, because this is a laugh in and of itself. Who can reply to this? Well, the replies are already turned off, so you know exactly what time it is. This action will not be taking place Saturday. That was a lie. Due to credible threat to life and safety. The safety of our trans community is the first priority. This threat is a direct result of the flood of raw hatred directed towards the trans community after the Tennessee shooting. The Tennessee shooting, right? That was committed, by a trans activist. It's hilarious the way that Libs of TikTok has this characterized, and shout out to them for doing some really great work. They just popped up right after Trump left office in 2021, and they're super famous right now. Like, there's one lady who's running that account. She's been doxxed multiple times by that disgusting excuse for a journalist over at, I think she's still at Washington Post. All right, she's a tech reporter over there, Taylor Lorenz. You might have heard of that old cat lady, but regardless, okay, the way that the Mirror, the Daily Mirror, for God's sakes, one of the flagship publications over in the UK, I understand it's maybe a little bit more of a tabloid, but the way that they characterize this, the Nashville shooter, Audrey Hale, could have been a children's illustrator, as their artwork was whimsical and childlike. Yo, man, imagine, would you think that the Daily Mail back in the cut would write, cult leader Charles Manson, you could describe his music as being artistic and really delves deeply into the emotions that human beings feel. Just don't mind the fact that, some of his cult members, cut a fetus out of a lady's womb when she was still alive or anything like that. But the way that they pointed out, okay, you have Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, austere religious scholar. This is legit. And, Washington Post, by the way, that it keep that same energy. Yeah, after Trump nuked that terrorist from orbit, that was the statement that the Washington Post put out, because anything that the Orange Man does is inherently bad, of course. So what do we have to say for ourselves? Because there's just so much hatred towards the trans community. And I just want to lay this out perfectly. I don't have any hatred for any trans people that are out there. People who want to go through the transition at a full age, by the way, at the age of legality, once you can firmly consent, whatever that is in your area, 18 for most of the places around the world. Once you're 18, you can consent, do whatever you want, just as long as it doesn't get heaped on my tax bill. We're copacetic. You want to go through all of that plastic surgery in order to have a high degree of regret? Totally your choice, man. But when you start to come after the kids and indoctrinate them time and time again with all of the drag queen stuff, and I was going to talk about that later on the stream tonight. Tune in for that if you're liking what you're seeing so far, but that'll be in a few hours' time. But as of right now, you can find countless pieces of evidence that just goes to show that there is nothing all ages about those drag shows. It's pretty despicable. But anyways, going on this. Okay, individuals who had nothing to do with this heinous act have been subjected to highly serious threats and blamed only because of their gender identity. You're going to have to provide receipts for that because, again, another one of these blanket claims. It's kind of like, oh yeah, because we talked about David Pakman. Oh, that was a few days ago. Yeah, when he had that really stupid claim that maybe Christians should have just prayed more and then they wouldn't have been mowed down. That's some galaxy brain thinking that I can't quite tap into. As somebody who's not a raving leftist, maybe I just don't have full access to that part of my brain. But him immediately in the aftermath of that, after leaving the tweet up for about a day and a half, takes it down and says, due to all the anti-Semitic attacks that I'm facing. He's since deleted that, but I remember, and it's in the video itself, where somebody was questioning him. It's like, pics or it didn't happen, something equivalent to that. Well, they're all in my email. Sure thing, pal. Anybody's gonna jump through hoops just to shit post on your original bad take. It doesn't seem to bore out. But again, just these cry-bully tactics. Hey, we had somebody in our trans community go in there and shoot up a school, so we're gonna have a day of vengeance afterwards, because vengeance, the only way that you can enact on vengeance is because it's predicated on a previous action. So are you making that tenuous argument that they didn't go far enough? That was a strange stance to take. But anyways, while we wholeheartedly believe in the mission and might have presaged that, okay, we put forth for Trans Day of Vengeance. Why don't you just call it the Trans Day of coming together as a group? Trans Day of having a picnic. Your side cares more about how words are delivered, so you decided to have a bad take about things, and then people on your side, theoretically, had a problem with the naming, and now you're going to go on the screen. All right, makes sense. We must prioritize the safety of our community and people that make it up. Again, do you want to address the 42%? Because that doesn't sound all of that safe, but regardless, moving right along. In an ideal world, in a world, we would have continued on in defiance of the attempt to silence our right to free expression. However, we lack the resources to ensure the safety in protest and cannot in good conscience move forward with it. In our continued effort to preserve trans and non-binary life, we have notified the appropriate agencies. Sure thing. That's why there was one person turnout. Now, it's not exactly the biggest turnout, but they seem to have a very good sign, just thinking, oh geez, I put 30 minutes into that and I already got I got my mask out of the washing machine, so I'm just good to go. Federal protections now. For what exactly? I don't know, but these people don't think further than the slogans that they put on their poster boards, so asking for any clarification, that would be a bridge too far. But just wondering, okay, there's nothing actually wrong with this form of protest. It's one individual that's out there being relatively peaceful. You're hoping for change. I've got nothing against that, man. But then you start to have the other stuff that turns up, and that's when it gets interesting, because there's a few people that turn up. Yes, a self-described National Socialist wearing a Hitler shirt. That's a little bit too based. Okay, not the Hitler shirt in and of itself, but somebody saying, oh no, National Socialist. Right. Okay, an actual Nazi turning up being in a Hitler shirt. Need to clarify that. I just seen the socialists and it's like, yeah, Nazis are socialists. That's an uncomfortable truth that the other side doesn't want to agree with. So not based at all. Don't take that out of context, because there was some spurg from yesterday. It was like, you said something that I don't agree with, so now I'm going to put a comment in the comment section. I say shit all the time that I don't necessarily agree with, but it was still a funny joke at the end of the day. And these are jokes, people. They're all jokes. Except for the fact that Nazis are socialists. You need to take a look at it with just a cursory amount of understanding of history. When we asked why he hates them, because you're effing degenerates. That's very saucy rather. But I also can't play it because it's interesting. Take a look at that guy right there, and then they engage in a physical scuffle after there's a guy in a red shirt and a mask behind just one of the most unengaged police officers I could possibly see. Yeah, then they just start to, I don't know, encroach a little bit maybe, but I don't know, man. Every time that I see stuff like this, okay, somebody obviously trying to provoke a situation, wearing a covering over their face, with the shorn sides and then just the nicely cropped top. It's got to be a plant, right? You'd have to think that it's a plant, because then you also had this sign just magically pop up in, on, and around the exact same place of people that are also all covered up, and then you have Buddy there again. It's an op, bro. It's an absolute op, because you already had these people come out and say that, oh, this action's not happening. And then look what happens when we're not allowed to go out there and peacefully protest. Somebody comes down with a sign that reads revolt against. You know what the word is right there. And I'm trying to stay up on YouTube because I had the other channel just magically go like that, but I'll be talking about that in the next video, of course. But revolt against a bundle of sticks, 1488. Oh my god. And if you that was a meme that was running around for a long time prior to that. It's also a neo-Nazi slogan. Okay, 14. Okay, the 14 words. And then 88. What's the eighth letter in the English language? It's H, and you know, throw up the Roman salute, all of that cringe stuff. Like, it's just all too perfect, man. It really is. Are there crazy people that are out there? Of course. Do they want to make a spectacle out of it? Not really. And especially, you know, just to ruffle the feathers of what exactly? Like, it just seems like a plant. But there were more demonstrations as well. Don't worry, man. These aren't the only ones. And again, YouTube is just so scummy. So here you have a clearly smart individual, a trans person, hits an interviewer in the face. Don't know what they're interviewing on. We don't really need to hear it. But as you can see, yeah, walking away, and then, yeah, bam, just hits them right smack dab in the face. That might be glorifying violence on YouTube, but whatever, man. It doesn't make any sense. A Bridgestone Arena, I think that's in Nashville. That's very interesting. And you're just trying to show that it's a peaceful group there, ultimately. Very, very interesting. But the star of the show, clearly, at least in my opinion, is Alex Stein when it comes to this. So he went down there. If you don't know who Alex Stein is, he's a right-wing agitator. He's really, really, really good at his job. And he's definitely sensationalizing the stuff that he does, and hearing some stuff, especially behind the scenes stuff. He's not exactly the best representative that's out there, but he is damn effective, okay? He was the guy, you might have seen him, and I covered the video specifically of when he went after AOC. He was the guy, the big juicy Latina booty or whatever. My favorite, no, in Congress, my favorite big booty Latina in Congress. That's what he said when he was on the steps of the Capitol, and then afterwards, AOC blew it up in a, no, she wasn't on TikTok at that time, on an Instagram post for the rest of her simps, but it is funny. It's funny, walking beside AOC at the time was her husband or fiance. Yeah, fiance. Okay, yeah, they're never gonna get married, and if they do, it won't be for very long, because yeah, that's a relationship that's not gonna last very long. But Alex Stein is out here. He went down to the New York City Day of Trans Visibility, and well, he got assaulted by the peaceful people that were there. Was he being hyperbolic, and was he making a show of himself? Of course. Was he being peaceful about it, like the first person that we seen here? Okay, just the lady that was down there. Of course. I'm sorry, the they them or whatever was down there don't want to be transphobic, you know. So we're gonna watch some of this. It's 4 minutes long. I don't want to watch all of it, but I also need to make sure that the sound is on. So let's see what we have here.
Throw water on me, they assault me. You got the cops here, they don't do anything about it. They just spit on me.
It's hilarious. Yeah, you're wearing a mask or a face covering, but then you want to spit on somebody else? Okay, cool. Somebody's still buying the propaganda in 2023 that it's literally the end of times.
They just spit on me. They just literally spit.
To be fair, Alex, kind of spit next to you.
Spit on me.
Yo, what the? Oh, right, that's his friend.
Children
Okay.
cannot consent. You guys are all sick. Children cannot consent. You guys are disgusting. I'm here with my wife.
Yo, there are so many people there.
Consent. Children cannot.
Let's go full screen on this. Screw it. Oh my god. Oh my god. There we go.
Children cannot consent. Children cannot consent. Children cannot.
There are so many people there. That's what I'm noticing.
Children cannot consent.
Yo, well, okay. Obviously, didn't deserve to get hit or have his phone knocked out of his hand, but he's making a spectacle of himself, to be completely honest, and definitely, well, he's trying to make a name for himself. Okay, they stole his hat. Old man. Okay, why is it always the old guys that are hat thieves? That's always so weird. Anyways, that's not very nice because he brought his colored friend with him. Coffee? Yo, that sucked. Well, I hate coffee. I need to smell like coffee for the rest of the day. Oh my god. Oh, get that out of the way. Yo. Alright, that's crazy.
That's enough. That's enough.
Oh, look at that! Look at
Yeah, but it's...
Oh my god, look at that!
It's funny. Okay, let's go back here for a second because there's something else that I noticed as well. Okay, so who threw the coffee? Okay, oh my god, just come on. I just want to see who threw the coffee. I actually don't know. That's probably a woman. The purple bandana. Yeah, it's so crazy with all of this stuff. But then who's throwing the water? At least she's not wearing a mask. But the most outrageous behavior is always committed by women because they've never, ever been held accountable for their actions. They're always told that they're just perfect, wonderful creatures. That's just what I've seen that's out there. Okay, but that's another topic for another time.
This is disgusting. I want to get spit on? Dude, you're an idiot. You're a loser. You're 2 feet tall. You're 4'11".
That's not very nice. There's no representation. Yo, that I don't know if that cop is supposed to be looking like that out there on the stroll. Interesting.
NYPD, you see the coffee? You see the throwing on me? You don't do a damn thing about it because you protect groomers. These NYPD, they care about groomers. They burn.
What is this one? Trans Day of Visibility. Join us for the March for Trans Rights with queer and trans youth. Literal groomers of NYC. Thursday and Friday. Yes. Interesting. At Union Park and Washington Park Square. During the day, obviously. Yeah, 4 and 5 o'clock. Yeah, because at night, oh, yeah, you don't want to go down there. Yeah. That's probably where the after party is going to be for everybody that is down there.
Give me your coffee. Yeah, I cut it off.
Because you're crazy.
What are you? Oh, yeah, you don't have it.
Sorry, what? We got to run that back real quick. That called Alex crazy.
These NYPD, they care about groomers. They burn me your coffee. Yeah, I cut it off.
Because you're crazy.
What are you? Oh, yeah, you don't have a gender. You don't have a gender?
You're crazy.
I'm a nerd.
Not me.
Look at this.
Fucking move, bro.
Oh, the
It hits in the
trannies.
face.
Oh, look, the trannies are mad.
Fuck you and anybody that works for you.
Why is that? But I like
Because
you.
you're scared of everybody.
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm trying to burn-
petrified.
No, I'm not. What? No, I'm not. You're too dumb because you're on too many hormones. I love it. Have you ever heard of Lupron?
Bruh.
Do you know that Lupron is a self-castration drug? Do you know that?
I've heard of the drug.
Have you ever heard of Lupron?
I have heard the name.
So they're giving kids Lupron, which is a castration drug. There's my wife's boyfriend. You got any change for my wife's boyfriend?
I don't have a card.
Look, come on, so you don't have a card? You didn't want to support. You don't support black people? Are you racist? Look, he's racist. He's racist. You got any money?
What's the big scene?
Yeah, I'm allowed to protest.
You do
This
what
is
you
not
like to
too-
do. You're causing big scene every time you go in there. You're allowed to go in there. You're allowed to do what you want to do. Just make sure
I'm
you
getting
guys
hit
stay
with
on
coffee. I know, but I'm getting hit with
I
coffee.
don't want you to get hurt. I don't want them to get hurt. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
I'm not afraid to get hurt.
That's
because I'm
fine.
trying
I'm
to
not.
One moderate man
I'm
out
not
there.
afraid. These people are afraid. What? See, you're just because you're gay and weird doesn't mean that you're right. From Primetime 99, Alex Stein, give me on camera. Come on, look, say hi. Say hi to the internet. It's okay to be gay. Don't cut your penis off today. It's okay to be gay. Don't cut your penis
Oh
off
my
today.
God.
It's okay. It's so funny. No, y'all see me. Y'all see her throw water on me, and y'all do nothing. Look at her. So she should just throw water on me. Imagine if I threw water on you, officer.
It's I don't really want to watch any more of this. It's kind of boring me, to be completely honest. But you notice the officers that they send down there, like, okay, maybe we can get a good shot of them here. Okay. It's just, did they purposely send all the minorities down there? Like, was that a concerted effort by the NYPD? I found that to be very, very interesting. Maybe it's just a complete coincidence. I'm being 100% authentic when I'm talking about that. Huh. It's It's troubling, but it's definitely not surprising. Maybe they have all of the other officers, because there was another report, thanks to the looming Trump indictment, that every police officer is uniformed and ready to be on alert for, you know what, eventually whenever Alvin Bragg decides to unseal the true bill of indictment from the grand jury and then try to perp walk Trump through the streets, which is going to be, that's going to be something. It's definitely something to look forward to next week, but they just... By putting, yeah, fuck it, I'll say it, the less physically capable police officers down there at that rally, it's almost like they wanted something to go on, because, yeah, especially if they caught wind that Alex Stein was going to be showing up. It's not like he was doing anything that was, like, he was doing stuff that was inflammatory, anything that was illegal. Was he hitting anybody? No. Was he just screaming and being an ass? Yeah, of course, that's his shtick. You don't expect, it's like expecting, you know, a bird to, or not expecting a bird to fly or a fish to swim. They're going to do what they're going to do. But I would imagine, there might be more to this story. Maybe not Stein's story or anything like that, but more instances of this somewhat unrest, maybe in different places. I don't know, Portland's been awfully quiet lately. I'm sure that they'll probably spark up here with something incredibly stupid in the near future, all in the name of trans rights. There's just one thing, man, and again, I alluded to it earlier. What is missing? What is missing? Can anybody define it? Can anybody say what right is a trans person in the United States missing? Can't think of anything. Can't think of it at all. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.